Hello everybody, my name is Dratnos and welcome to my weekly vault video. This week is going to be one of the biggest, probably the biggest remaining vault for the rest of the season. I don't know, I've said that the last few weeks, and then I always think that the next week I'm not going to play as much, and then I do play a lot. So last week I played a ton of World of Warcraft because, I don't know, there's a lot of fun stuff to do. Keys are just really fun right now. That being said, this week, upcoming, there's a launch for a new season of a game called Last Epoch that I might play a little bit of, so that might eat into my key time this week. We'll see. Either way, up first is my Paladin. My Paladin is sort of my main. My DK is also sort of my main. They're kind of equally geared. And right now I'm just trying to get up to 675 so I can get the achievement that lets you then have Gilded Crest be cheaper on the rest of your account. And it looks like this time around the achievement is just for average item level rather than every slot item level. Which means I mostly just want to get Myth Track in slots that I already don't have Myth Track. And especially if I can get high Myth Track pieces, right? Like something Myth 4 out of 6, Myth 6 out of 6. I could get a Jaster Diamond or a Test Pilot's Go pack. Any items like that would go crazy for getting me a lot of item level very quickly. So yeah, something like that would be ideal. Loot spec should be prot because I would also like the Gallywix shield, even though that's not item level. That thing is just really good. Okay, what do we got here? We've got, well, Myth Track chest piece. This is only one upgrade step on my chest piece, unfortunately, because I have already upgraded my chest piece to 665, which is sort of inefficient long-term, but it was good short-term to help kill Gallywix. There's also a cloak here. This is also a one item level step in the cloak. Or there's a mythic belt, but I already have a nicer mythic belt even. And then we have a shield, a haste crit shield, nice stat shield from the M+ rows here. But yeah, I want the Gallywix shield anyways. And there's only like a couple people in the raid that use shield, so one of those is going to go to me in the near future for sure. So really the question here is, do we take the chest piece or do we take the cloak? The arguments for taking the chest piece are, there's a very rare cloak that I could get in my vault that would be better. The arguments for taking the cloak are, well, okay, I guess the other argument for the chest piece is this is a bigger upgrade, right? Chest piece is a more stat budget slot, so that's more power there. The arguments for taking the cloak are, there's only 2 cloaks in the raid, and one of them is very rare. And this one is also in high demand here, the Racing Flag. So it's probably less likely that I can get this than that I can get a mythic chest piece, because both Muggsy and whatever boss actually drops the tier chest piece will drop items that are pretty low contestedness these days. Like, there's not a lot of venerated chest piece needers left in my raid, and I think I'm the only person who wears plate that needs it. So if the Muggsy one drops, I could just get that and not need to take this. So I think with those things considered, the cloak is actually probably better, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for reclear this week and at least see what drops, see if, one or the other one drops, because I think if this doesn't drop, I'll take the chest piece, but there's a pretty good chance I can get the chest piece from raid this week, so yeah, we'll wait and see from raid. All right, up next is my DK. My DK is also very geared, also 668, in the hunt for being the first character of mine to reach 675 if we get lucky from the vault. Now, this character only has 2 mythic bosses killed last week. The vault, however, is up through Bandit for this character. So what would we like to see? Rick Necklace would be really good. Very rare cloak from Sprocketmonger would be, I think, the best thing we could see. There's also mythic bracers from Vexy or from Sprocket, both of which would be a lot of item levels there. We could get tier helmet. That would be good also. Or best in slots. Would be really happy to see best in slots, even though I've already spent a lot of crests on my weapon, just because that item is best in slot. So, yeah, loot spec Unholy is fine, because I haven't killed Gallywix, so I can't get the Bombshell. Ooh, a haste crit roulette wheel. That's kind of an exciting item. I think we are going to end up going with that, because, yeah, those are some cool stats to put on a roulette wheel for a lot of specs. This will be very good for Blood, Sand Lane as well. I do currently have two rings that are 658. They're better than 658s than all the other 658s, right? A Jaster Diamond and a Circlet. But I bet this thing, I mean, there's a lot of haste, and haste is a really good stat for Sand Lane. So, yeah, this thing has got to be a pretty irreplaceable ring. All right, up next is my DH. My DH did 2 bosses of Mythic and also did 4 keys. So pretty good chances here. Loot spec can be... Yeah, it can be Havoc. I guess I should make it Vengeance, because there aren't a lot of good tank trinkets. There is one, the Priory tank trinket, that this character doesn't yet have. I would be pretty happy to take, so let's go Vengeance loot spec. Okay, it's not going to matter. We have the Crit Haste Cloak, the Vexy Cloak, a Verse Crit Cloak, or a Verse Mastery Ring. And then some Delve stuff. I think I'm going to go with the Crit Haste Cloak. I mean, again, the problem with the Cloak is it's fairly easy to drop a Cloak by killing Vexy. The problem is this character is only ever going to kill Vexy in a group with like 15 other people who want this stupid Cloak. So let's grab this. I think it's going to be better than... I think the Crit Haste is going to be better than the Verse Crit. I like Haste. I'd rather have it be Haste Crit than Crit Haste, but I think I still want to take this one over the M+ one. I might want to even catalyze this. There's a new catalyst charge this week as well, but that's a fun problem to worry about in the future. All right, here's my Monk. My Monk did 2 bosses of Mythic. This tier, 2 bosses of Mythic is actually... It's harder than 2 bosses of Mythic was last tier. I would say doing 2 bosses of Mythic this tier is about as hard as doing 4 bosses was last tier. Like, Rashinan and Cauldron of Carnage, I would say, are on a similar level of difficulty. And then going up to, like, Rick and Styx, I think is going to be almost impossible to pug. So a lot of characters are going to be on a drip feed of 2 bosses, hoping that they get whatever items they need. The thing is, you know, there's usually... Most specs need like 5 items between Vexy and Cauldron, so you can get a lot of good stuff out of there. But I also did a key, so I could fill my character out with some good loot from the key row. I'm going to switch loot spec to Brewmaster because, again, I would like the Priory trinket. That thing is pretty good. Could use one of those. All right, we're not going to see it. We've got a high altitude turban or the Ageless Serpent's Handguards. So either 1 upgrade step on gloves. And then this wouldn't even... I don't really want to catalyze this, so this would basically just save me crests on upgrading my current gloves. Or we go Helmet, and this I think is the obvious choice. This is Champion to Myth track on the Helmet. We'll probably chuck this in the catalyzer. And yeah, pretty happy about that. That's a decently sized upgrade. Yeah, I think Motherlode Helmet is what this one was, I think. It's weird to see it without the Azurite traits on it. All the BFA loot without the Azurite traits. Very strange, strange feeling. It was like when they added weapons to the Legion dungeons. It's weird to see weapons dropping from those dungeons. Okay, here is my Warrior. I should remember what I just clicked login on. I think it's my Warrior, which did 1 key and 3 bosses of Mythic. This actually did my guild's alt raid, which killed 3 bosses. Not an especially efficient number, but it is actually nice to get Rick Reverb into the pool, because Reverb drops a one-hander, a shield, a necklace, all of which are good, a Reverb radio, which wouldn't be especially good. But I already have a Tome of Light's Devotion on this character, so loot spec can be arms, yeah. I guess if it's arms, I'm not going to get the shield or the one-hander. Maybe I want those. I don't really want to replace the shield until I can get the Galliwick shield. But I guess the one-hander would be good. All right, I'm convinced. I'm going to go loot spec prot. I hope I don't see the shield, though, because I would like the Galliwick shield. Okay, didn't matter. We've got the Mythic Shoulders, 665, or Pants, 662. So the Pants are a bigger upgrade slot, but this is more eye level. The shoulders are going to save me more crests. On the other hand, this character's probably not spending crests for a while. This also saves me a tier catalyst charge, which is kind of nice. This character is, I think, only on the 1 charge that we got this week, so saving one of those means that now I can get Mythic gloves or pants and catalyze them, so that would be pretty nice. I'm going to take the bigger eye level jump, and hopefully I don't get punished too much. I mean, this character is going to start killing Styx and stuff pretty soon, and Styx drops the tier pants. I guess Zenith is a pretty contested token, especially in my guild's alt raid. I'm pretty sure almost everybody still needs those pants, but I'm sure I can get those pants. Or I can just do more keys and get the pants back in the keys section of my vault, but I want to take the higher eye level steps when I can. especially on a character like that I'm actually gonna... I want to use that character before I get to the 675 achievement on my main. There are a lot of characters that I'm kind of waiting on. Let's go loot spec balance. Yeah, I would actually like an intellect weapon. Yeah, a lot of characters I'm kind of waiting on getting the gilded achievement before I send any more upgrades, but I don't have the ability to do that on my warrior. Okay, so this character, as you can see, I did 2 slots of heroic raid, and then we've got mythic speed chest piece or a cloak. This has just got to be the chest piece. I mean, the chest piece is bigger. It's got a tertiary on it. This actually has pretty good stats as well, so we might catalyze into other slots if we can. I'm not sure what my other slot situation is. Oh yeah, there's also, I guess, good stat leather pants. I think Styx drops both the pants and the pant token for leather. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's actually what these ones are. Let's see. Styx drops. Okay, it's the same stats, but it's slightly different. A different item. I guess these are like delve pants or something. So yeah, maybe we catalyze those. Maybe we just catalyze this chest piece. Because crit mastery is not the coolest combo of stats. Verse haste is definitely better. But then I'd have to catalyze champ track pants. Yeah, I don't know. I guess for now I can just upgrade my chest piece to 662 and then save the catalyst charge and I don't know. Maybe that's a little greedy. Maybe I just should throw this thing in the catalyzer and then not worry about it. Maybe I should log out, go to the next character, and then conveniently forget about that until after doing a bunch of content, I open my bags and realize I have a huge upgrade in there that I haven't done. That sounds like something I would do. All right, here's my mage. My mage I actually did 8 keys on last week. I was having a lot of fun playing Arcane. They buffed Arcane. Arcane already felt really good. I also did a bunch of raid content. I pugged a bunch of heroic raid on this character, including, like, I probably pulled heroic bandit and heroic Gallywix for like 3 or 4 hours across a bunch of different pugs on this character. Didn't kill either one. Did pug and eventually kill heroic Sprocket. But man, yeah, those last few bosses can be pretty hard. It's a huge RNG of like how good your pug is. They all say, you know, AOTC only, 6 out of 8 M lead, blasters only, you'll get kicked if you underperform. And then you join the group and like half the raid doesn't understand the token mechanic on one-arm bandit. You just wipe, 3 times to fraud detected, and you're like, okay, there was some false advertising here. But yeah, so here's my mage. I would really like a chest piece. I'm still sitting on a veteran track chest piece, and this character actually has a bunch of gilded crests from all the keys and stuff that I've been doing on it. I did some 12 keys even, 13s and stuff on this character, which give a bunch of extra gilded crests. But I'm saving the gilded crests because I kind of want to use them after I get the gilded achievement on my main. I don't have anything good to put the crest into. I just have a belt and shoulders. So if I had something like a helmet or a chest piece or a weapon or a trinket that I wanted to put the gildeds into, I probably would have. But these low stat budget slots, I'll just wait until I get the achievement, make it cheaper. But yeah, let's see what we got here. So chest piece is really the big thing we would want. Failing that, failing that helmet would be good. But yeah, chest piece would be the main thing. Okay. So we've got a avoidance ring, a verse mastery avoidance ring. Kind of tempting. Avoidance is also pretty good. That's just one of those things that you like to see. The Entropic Scarden Core. I played a little bit with the 658 hero track version of this trinket. Pretty awful trinket to actually play with. Don't think I want to use that. Or a Leech Offhand. Also pretty exciting. I think the Galleytech limited edition for me is... Oh, is there not even one? Do you not even get Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't think you even get a Galleytech limited edition as a mage. That's unlucky. Okay, yeah, so... I don't know. I guess I'm probably sticking with the staff for a while. I don't think I necessarily want to go with a... held in offhand, and then I would have to get a mythic main hand, a myth track main hand to make this worth. And there is one off of, I think it's Vexy. Oh no. Oh yeah, there's one off Vexy, and there's also one off Styx. But I don't think this character is necessarily going to kill mythic bosses. So I guess what we're thinking about, I guess it's probably just got to be this ring. Verse Mastery are not particularly the best stats that I want. I want a decent amount of haste. Not as much as Fire wants, but yeah, I want to play Arcane on this thing this season. I don't know. I mean, this is an Avoidance Myth Track ring, though. That is pretty tempting. Verse Mastery, these are good stats. This is a very good defensive ring. If I ever wanted to do high keys randomly on Arcane Mage, it would be good to have some Verse and Avoidance, so we'll take the ring. Pretty sad to not see a chest piece out of the 3 slots that I unlocked for that character, but that's the thing with the vault. Sometimes you can do 1 key and get a really good item. Sometimes you can do 8 keys and get no really good item. That's just how it goes sometimes. Okay, here's my Shaman. My Shaman did 2 mythic bosses, a couple extra heroic bosses, and then also 4 keys. This character has escaped the Ruined Crest. Actually, every character except for my Mage and my Evoker are full 658 now, so no use for Ruined Crests. Saving all my Gilded Crests until I get the achievement to make it cheaper to upgrade with them. So these characters are pretty much, they're going to still be 662, 663 for the foreseeable future. I sent a couple of crafts on each of them to 675. I've done a couple of upgrades, but at this point I'm kind of hitting the brakes until I can get that achievement on my main and then make it cheaper on my alts. So let's see what we get here. Florendo's Pilot Light, not a particularly good trinket. It is very high itemable though. Ooh, that's got to be exactly what we want here. So there's Tier Pants. Tier Pants are good. They're good stats as well. But this is an Avoidance Glow Torque, these are great stats for Resto Shaman, which is the main thing I want to play on this thing. And it's got Avoidance on it as well, so I'm not going to pass that up. I'm going to take the necklace, even though the pants are a high stat budget slot. It would be very nice to get Myth Track pants. But yeah, I'm gonna take the tertiary while I can. Okay, here's my rogue. My rogue did a normal last 2. I actually got a tier token on Gallywix. The only piece of loot that I basically won from a pug raid was on this character, was an Omni token off of Gallywix. So I was able to make 4-piece and then able to upgrade out of my last veteran track slot. So now I'm 661 on this guy. But yeah, we just did 1 key, so hoping to see something good. Loot Spec Assassination. I'd still like a dagger, even though I have 2 crafted daggers. I would be very happy to see one of those. Not going to get it. We've got another turban here. We'll take that and probably catalyze this. Although Mastery Verse, yeah, I guess we probably want to catalyze this. I don't know what my off piece wants to be as Assassination. Oh, I guess maybe this will be my off item, and I'll just catalyze my pants. Yeah, either way, pretty good outcome here. Of the mythic pieces this character's gotten, it's been Trinket, which is good, Pants, which is good, Boots, which is mid, and then Helmet, which is good. So pretty lucky all things considered there. And we'll see if we juggle it around so that becomes my off piece or not. I have a sneaking suspicion that I want my helmet to be my off piece, but I want a different helmet there. But I need to look at actually the stats of you need to look at the stats of all the tier pieces and then the stats of the various, raid drops in those slots. And the thing is, this character's not going to get Myth Track raid loot, so I kind of don't even really have access to that. So we'll see. Here's my Priest. Loot spec should be Shadow, because I don't really want any healer trinkets. I did 4 keys on this character. Character did a bunch of keys. There was a day where I was just healing some extra keys, so a lot of my healers got some extra vault rows as a result. Pretty much anything would be an upgrade for this character. I'd be kind of sad to see a weapon, because I crafted into weapon, but if it was a 2-hander, I'd maybe still take it, upgrade it higher, and then craft into another slot and do like 2 dusk threads, something like that. Although I don't think there's really good stabs from the M+ rows this season, because it's like Mechagon Staff, Rookery Staff, and both of those are bad. So, yeah, besides that, I've already got Myth Track, Necklace, and Shoulders. So Pants, Helmet, and Chest Piece would be the main ones. A banger trinket would also always be welcome as well. But as long as we just dodge the slots we've already got. Ooh, okay. A Socketed Helmet. That's pretty exciting. Other option here would be a duplicate shoulder piece. So, Yeah, we're going to take the socketed helmet. That is a great outcome. Helmet was one of the things we wanted to see, and a socket is absolutely one of the things we wanted to see on there. Although, would it have been too much to ask for a little bit of leech as well? I don't know. That seems a little unlucky when you think about it. Okay, here's my Evoker. My Evoker is my worst character by item level, sitting at the lowly item level of 660. I did a full heroic clear and last two normal to try and salvage this character's item level a little bit. Was not very successful. I didn't really win a lot of items, so I'm still sitting on 2 veteran track pieces here in the helmet and shoulder slots. So upgrading either one of these from the 1M plus key that I did on this character would be a delight. The other thing that would be nice would be another mythic trinket, so I could replace my Brutarializer, and then I'd also be able to upgrade my Blazicon Wax for free. So a good trinket, helmet. The best thing to see would be a helmet, then a good trinket, then shoulders, and then just any slot that I, don't already have Myth Track in. So as long as we don't see a chest piece, and then ideally not a weapon or bracers, we're going to be pretty happy. And we've got, okay, not too... This is not one of the, jackpot outcomes that we could have seen here. There is actually Hero Track tier shoulders here, but I'm going to delay... I'm going to take the Myth Track while I can. The short term, it'd be nice to get Hero Track, shoulders, and helmet, but I can get those out of keys, and, even though I haven't yet, I surely will sometime soon. So yeah, we'll grab these, presumably catalyze them, and yeah, not the best outcome, but certainly not the worst either. Hard to complain. Okay, here's my Warlock. My Warlock did a heroic skip raid, so first boss and then last 3. So we've got 2 slots of heroic raid, which are pretty unlikely. I don't think there's really anything I would take from the raid slots. Maybe I would consider a House of Cards, or I guess a Mug's Moxie Jug, because my trinkets are kind of aggressively bad on this character. But really, I just want a good Myth Track piece from the key that I did. So a chest piece, or helmet, or pants would be the main things. Unfortunately, we're gonna see a belt. I've already crafted into the belt slot, but there's definitely not anything exciting from the other slots here. So the choices we have, none of these other options are really worth considering. So the choice here is between the belt or the socket. If I take the belt, I can upgrade it to 675 for free, and then I can move my craft elsewhere. And when I say elsewhere, that's probably going to be bracers or boots. So I haven't really lost crests on that exchange. I basically will have sent crests on a belt, which is not not necessarily the greatest thing to do. If I could go back in time, I probably would have crafted this with an enchanted runed crest instead, but I got, a little overzealous and crafted it with a gilded crest. Not that this character needs... I have a stockpile of gilded crests, but I'm kind of trying to save them for when I get the achievement thing. But yeah, if I were to take this belt, then I would need to craft with another enchanted gilded crest somewhere else to get a good craft value in. So I'll have lost like 20 gilded crests compared to doing this the smarter way and waiting for the achievement before crafting into belt. And then not crafting into belt, taking this out of vault. And, yeah. So that's not the end of the world. I could also just take the socket. If I take the socket, I could put the socket into this belt right now and be reasonably happy with that. I am fairly constrained on sparks on this character. I actually can't craft a new thing this week. I have to wait till next week to get a new spark. And the embellishments that are available to me actually aren't very good because I crafted a necklace to fix... Basically, my necklace was my last non-hero or champ track piece. So I crafted there. Yeah. All right, I think I'm just going to take the socket here. If I had another spark, there's a good chance I would take this belt and just move my craft elsewhere, but I have to wait till next week to do that. I don't really want to do that. I'm going to need to take this socket at some point eventually anyways. The stats on this thing aren't particularly good. If it was haste heavy, I'd be thinking about it as well. I don't know what this catalyzes into either, but presumably this character is going to want to save some catalyst charges anyways, so yeah, let's just we'll throw a socket into it. That can't be that bad, and yeah, it should be okay. All right, last character is my Hunter. My Hunter actually did a 2 of 8 Mythic in addition to a Keystone. So a couple items we could get from the vault here. Yeah, we'll go loot spec. Do I want to go Survival and get the Vexy Staff? Or do I want to go MM or BM and get the Cauldron of Carnage gun or bow? It would be a slight upgrade to replace my gun with the Cauldron bow. But it would be slight. And I actually wouldn't be able to craft another slot that can take Dawn Thread until next week, so let's go loot spec Serve. I got a good feeling about getting the Vexy Staff and then playing some Serve on this guy. That could be fun. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there it is, the Vexy Staff. Or I could take Mythic Shoulders, but I already have Mythic Shoulders, so yeah, we'll take the Vexy Staff and maybe play some Serve on this guy. Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds pretty fun. I played all 3 specs now this season on this character of Hunter. They're actually all pretty fun. It's crazy though. You spec BM. Okay, look at the middle of my screen here. Look at all these buttons and stuff for MM. Now, not all these are buttons, right? Like some of this is just tracking, your precise shots or whatever, various procs that you can get. But look what happens when I switch this over to BM. Watch what happens to the middle of my screen and the number of buttons that are here. And whoop. There's 5 of them, but there really don't need to be that many. Well, the kill shot one is kind of whatever. So yeah, I'm actually shocked by how little button there's involved with BM. Like you could very easily play this with one hand that only has 3 fingers on it, and that. I think it's great that there's a spec like that in WoW. I'm kind of surprised because a lot of other specs gained a lot of other stuff from the hero talents. I guess if you swapped it over to Dark Ranger, you'd be pressing a little bit more kill shots and stuff. But yeah, Pack Leader basically just gives you new interactions on like kill command and that give you more charges of barb shot and stuff. But yeah, kind of a crazy comparison. I've been having a lot of fun on MM though. MM is pretty sweet burst when you get a good lock and load proc, and there's like a bug that is currently I think how the spec is doing so much damage where if you get a lock and load proc, you can double count the 4-set on a real explosive shot and your 4-set one. Both of them do 300% damage, I think. So that's part of, if you ever see MM Hunters bursting for huge damage, that's I think what is going on, but I don't know that for sure. That's what I heard. And I like to parrot misinformation about specs that I've only played a little bit of on these videos. Anyways, hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope your vaults have been good. My vaults this week were decently good. Only took 1 socket, so can't complain too much about that. A few marginal upgrades across the account, but what can you do? And you can see my item level situation is getting pretty darn good here across the account. Just my Evoker sitting at 660, and even that is going to go up soon. And then, yeah, all these guys are basically going to sit at 661, 662 until I can get up to 675 on one of these 2 characters leading the pack. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.